Good morning. Today is October the 15th. This is Orly Taitz and this is Taitz Report. And we have only 2 days before the default that is being threatened by Barack Obama unless the Republican Party capitulates and provides Barack Obama a carte blanche to spend as much as he wants without any limitations to the Obamacare, the healthcare bill that has been a complete disaster until now. It was reported that yesterday Mitch McConnell and Reid, the leaders of Senate Minority Leader and Senate Majority Leader, reached an agreement. And I wanted to talk about this agreement, and I wanted to explain why this agreement is so bad that it will threaten any senator, any Republican senator who is signing it, and the threat is not going to come from the left. The threat is going to come from the right. And I wanted to give the GOP senators a little bit of a history lesson to show to them why their main threat is coming from the right. Let's think. For a number of years, Republican senators, as well as Democrats, did not have much of an opposition. Basically, they could do anything and everything, and they will be reelected no matter what. However, in the last several elections, 2, 3, 4 elections, we've seen the rise of the Tea Party. We've seen that the nation is rising against the ruling establishment. And if you analyze how sitting Republican senators were thrown out of office, you would see that they were thrown not because they were too conservative, they were thrown out because they sold out their conservative principles and they sold out their constituency. Let's take Bob Bennett of Utah, a longtime Republican senator. He was thrown out of office during the primary election, and that's what brought Mike Lee into the U.S. Senate. Let's look at Richard Lugar, who was a well-known Republican senator from Indiana. He was not thrown out of office because of the challenge on the left by the Democrats. He was thrown out of office because of the challenge on the right. Further, let's remind Lisa Murkowski that she actually was beaten during the Republican primary by Joe Miller, former magistrate judge Joe Miller, and Tea Party candidate. She was able to stage a comeback through a write-in election during the general election. However, a write-in election succeeds extremely rarely. Um, it succeeded in the state of Alaska because it's such a tiny state where you can successfully wage a write-in election. Lisa Murkowski had an enormous name recognition, not because of her, but because of her father, who was a well-known politician in Alaska, and that's how she was able to come back to the U.S. Senate. But she was thrown out in the primary. Let's think for a moment. What happened in Florida? An establishment candidate, a former governor of Florida, Charlie Crist, was beaten by less known Marco Rubio, who did not have the funding that Charlie Crist had, did not have the connections, and did not have the backing of the Republican Party. Rubio won and came to the U.S. Senate specifically because of the Tea Party. Let's think of Mike Castle, former governor of Delaware. He lost in the primary, and it is irrelevant that his challenger, um, Kathleen O'Donnell, did not win the general election. What is important to those senators who are considering to vote on this horrible bill that was proposed by McConnell and by Harry Reid is not whether ultimately the primary winner will win the general election or not. They're concerned about their own skin, whether they will come back to the US Senate. And let's remember, Mike Castle was beaten in the primary election. Similarly, it is irrelevant the fact that David Murdoch was not able to win the general election. It didn't do any good to Richard Lugar. Richard Lugar still lost and did not get to come back to the US Senate. Further, let's think what happened in Texas. In Texas, the um, establishment candidate, David Dewhurst, was beaten in the primary by less known um, Ted Cruz. And let's remind Mitch McConnell that in the primary election, he, as a well-known establishment senator from the state of Kentucky, was backing Trey Grayson, who was the former Secretary of State of Kentucky establishment candidate, and he was beaten by Rand Paul, who was not known, who was just an ophthalmologist, an eye doctor, not very well known in politics, and who was able to who was able to beat Trey Grayson, who was the establishment candidate. The Tea Party threw a challenge to Mitch McConnell back in 2010 during the 2010 election. And therefore, Mitch McConnell needs to think long and hard because Tea Party is supporting Matt Levin, who is challenging Mitch McConnell. Similarly, Lindsey Graham needs to think long and hard because Tea Party is supporting Nancy Mace, not Lindsey Graham. So please, I'm asking all of my supporters to call Republican US senators and demand that they do not vote for the bill, for the compromise that was reportedly worked out between Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell. This compromise will not do anything positive for the American people. If anything, it's only negative. It will raise the debt ceiling. And we know every time the debt ceiling is raised, spending goes up, particularly under the Obama regime. Further, it will actually help the union bosses to raise more money because it will give a reprieve to the unions for reinsurance tax that is paid by the employers. However, it will not help ordinary Americans, over 100 million Americans who are working and who would have to pay this penalty of $2,000 or 1% of their income come 2014, while the corporations got a 1 year delay, and why Congress was able to finagle that 75% of their healthcare dues, their healthcare expenses will be paid by us, the taxpayers, by American people. American people are angry, are extremely angry and livid with those corrupt, bought and paid for politicians, particularly ones sitting in the US Senate, as they're far um, so far from the American citizens who are working and who are paying for them and for their staff and for all of their expenses. People are rising. You've seen what happened in World War II Memorial, and therefore, I'm asking, please call your Republican U.S. senators and demand that they vote no on the agreement that was worked out by Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell. Don't give reprieve to the unions while you do not give a delay to American citizens. Give them delay from Obamacare. Give them delay, the same delay that was given to corporations. Therefore, they would not have to pay this penalty next year, particularly since the program does not work. And please come up with serious cuts. We want to see serious cuts to spending, particularly to spending by the White House. American people are livid with the fact that this Indonesian Kenyan usurper sitting in the White House with fabricated IDs and with a stolen social security number closed the White House to American citizens who own it, saying that he is trying to cut the spending, trying to cut expenses, trying to save on about $1 million that costs for additional security for American citizens, for our children to visit the White House. At the same time, this Indonesian Kenyan con artist went to Africa and spent $100 million, reported $100 million on his vacation and vacation of his two daughters and the rest of his entourage. This should not continue. You have to put in any agreement, if agreement even comes to fruition, serious spending for the White House, serious spending for the Senate, for federal establishment in order to balance the budget. Moreover, the best thing that the Republicans can do today is wait. Wait until Thursday. You have just 2 days to wait. It's not too much. Just wait, hold on for 2 days. Come Thursday, you will be able to win big for two reasons. One, if Barack Obama does pay his obligations, as those T-bills are coming in and other obligations are coming in, he will pay because there is money in the Treasury. We are getting $250 billion every month, and our debt payments, the interest on our debt is only $30 billion per month. He definitely can pay and has to pay, and therefore he would be seen as this chicken little who was running around and screaming that the sky is falling down. If, on the other hand, he decides to stick it to American citizens, to American public, what you would be able to do is launch a very successful impeachment and removal from office of Barack Obama due to his violation of the 14th Amendment. Because, according to the 14th Amendment, he would have to pay his debt obligations. He cannot play games with the US debt. And let me tell you, if you launch this, this impeachment and removal from office, Wall Street will be backing you up. And this is Taitz report for October the 15th, 2013. Please have a beautiful day, and please burn those phone lines and make sure you reach each and every Republican senator and tell him vote no, absolutely no. Thank you.